Good morning, Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan, and welcome to our weekly sales meeting, our last one here. We are less than 48 hours from the end of January. It feels like just moments ago we were talking about how we were wrapping up the year. Now we're already 8.5% of the way through 2024. That scares you, that's okay, because it's going to put us into action to achieve our goals for 2024. Today, we're going to be talking about creating your own unique value proposition. Over the course of the next couple of months, the conversations that you will have about real estate and for people who are specifically looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate are going to increase pretty dramatically. There's a few things that drive this. One, after spending so much time cooped up in our homes during the winter months in Cleveland, people are ready to get out and do things, and they could very well be sick of their house. And so they're ready to move. And they're going to start looking at houses and interviewing realtors. And you want to be able to articulate, hey, what makes you special? Why I work with you. The other reason is the market rises in the spring and summer months. Kids are out of school, moving's easier. You don't have to trek through the snow, all of those great things. So the opportunity to put forth, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is why it's important. And here's how you should feel about it if you work with me, is going to be increasing as we make it into February, March, April. So we're covering that at the top of the hour. We're going to start this morning, as we start every sales meeting, with a little conversation about the belief system for Keller Williams. These are known as the Y4C2Ts, a clever way to organize and anachronize these. And so every week we like to talk about one of these as it relates to your business. I'm going to go ahead and spoil the surprise of unique value proposition, at least part of it, and focus on communication. As we will see in the data that we will review around constructing your unique value proposition, communication comes up many, many, many times in terms of what individuals value in their realtor or what makes a realtor great. This is true for clients and their realtors, realtors and their co-brokes alike. Communication is key, and we're not talking about talking. The big part of communication is talking about listening, right? You can't hear things if you're talking. And so our belief around communication is to seek first to understand, whether it is represented in a client's need for you to understand why they're moving, what their timeline is, why that's important to them, what it means to them and their family. If we're not digging into those things and we're simply out there opening doors and pushing paper and calling that being a real estate professional, are we really doing the job at the highest level? Is it really a unique value proposition, right? If 15,000 people in Northeast Ohio have a license and can open a door, if that's all you're doing, how unique is that? So when we focus on communication, we're going to unearth a lot of different things that are important to our clients that we can deliver on at no cost. So look for more of that to show up in today's training element. Every month we have a couple of career nights. February is no different. We had a great one last night via Zoom. Thank you to everybody who encouraged a friend, family member, former colleague, or former client to be there. I think we had almost a dozen folks on Zoom to learn more about our company, our culture, and how to pursue a career in real estate. In February, we are doing 2 in person and 1 via Zoom. The February 5th session will be in Pepper Pike, the February 12th session in Rocky River, and the February 19th session via Zoom. So very much looking forward to getting with each and every one of the people in your world that wants to know more about a career in real estate. And if you need more information, want to post about it, anything like that, there's a marketing toolkit available, and certainly you can repurpose any of the communications that we'll have going out about it. Before we dive into what's going on in the market center, I wanted to take an opportunity to turn the sticks over to Chris Case, a great agent in our office, one of our top individual agents, an ALC member, and a darling of her community for her work in supporting individuals in need year round. And so she has a special project that I believe this is your third year doing, correct?
Fourth. Yeah, this is my fourth
Year doing. And as we love to do here at KW, we love to help each other and help agents. And so we're going to hear from Chris about how we all might be able to help her help more people. Chris?
Hi, yes. As Mike mentioned, this is our fourth year doing Socks in a Box. It's a collection for the Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless. So to date, we've collected over 1,500 pairs of socks over the last 3 years. So we would like to try to get over that 2,000 mark this year. And it's just a simple donation. We just ask for either new or slightly, used socks to donate. And all of that gets dropped off the week right before Valentine's Day to restock their and replenish their socks. And they also donate to other organizations within Cleveland, like Family Services and things, if they are down and need any like items like that. So if you do have anything, right now clearance is big, after the holidays and winter, or if you got things that your grandmother gave you that you don't really care for, we do have right now this year, it's like the 3 collection sites. The main ones are the Strongsville, Brook Park, and Middleburg Heights rec centers. There's big red bins in each lobby. But also if you had any and you want to just leave them by the desk for me with a tag on them at either office, I'd be happy to pick them up. So anything you can donate would be greatly appreciated.
Awesome. And you said you already collected 1,500 pairs of socks in the first 5 days of this drive.
I know the first 3 years, over the last 3 years.
Oh, I was whoa, you're going to blow that 2,000 number out of the water.
No. Last 3 years, but we've had, a good contribution from a lot of people. So.
Good. And so if I've got, if I want to support this, I can drop off socks at either office anytime before the 10th.
Yes. February 10th. It runs now through February 10th. Yes.
Very cool. Let's say I am not, I'm not going to brave the tag sales or head into the Walmart and get some socks off clearance. Is there a way that I could just donate money and then you go buy socks?
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Okay.
And I would be happy to show you what I purchased with your money.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, thank you for what you're doing for the community and to help those that are less fortunate. Secondly, if you can put any paraphernalia in the chat, specifically around, I know that you have a video that sort of details what's going on with this that might be helpful for someone else to share if they want to activate their sphere of influence around a giving opportunity. And then finally, if somebody is interested in making a cash donation, where would they do that or how would they do that? Just go ahead and throw all that in the chat. Okay, Chris?
Okay, great. All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Let's dive into upcoming training. We have a stacked calendar for the month of February. Very, very cool opportunities here, starting on Thursday with our broker mastermind. So you've heard us talking a lot about the statewide purchase agreement. I know several agents have encountered that, either receiving offers or some listing agents are requiring that offers be made on that document. We will continue to integrate that into our training so that everyone will have the opportunity to understand that the fullest. And so on Thursday, we're doing an open forum with our broker, Andrew Ginter, and he's going to be answering all the questions you have, the concerns you have, the things that you've heard about what's going on with this contract. And then throughout the month, we are going to see some great highlights from our different communities at KWGM. We will be working a solo agent roundtable for discussing that experience as an individual, a lone wolf out there in the real estate jungle, as it were, and then a few other great things. But before we get to February, we have a very, very cool training coming up on Wednesday. That's tomorrow at the Lakes of Orange. Allison Benoit is going to be running a run your open house like a model home. So Allison has years and years of experience prior to being a licensed real estate agent selling new construction. And then as a real estate agent, has made a lot of hay selling new construction. And there are some elements of new construction that allow for a really nice presentation. And there's an incredible amount of sales training that goes into showing new construction. The builders invest a lot of time, energy, and resources into that. All of the models and systems used for new construction play extremely well with your open houses, even if it's a Century home. So be there tomorrow, get RSVP, sign up, grab some grub while you're there, and learn how to strategically present the opportunity of your home at an open house, led by Allison. I think we've got over 20 individuals already signed up for that, and it should be a real fun time. Then next week, our big event for the month of February will be awards night. If you have not got a ticket, going into the chat right now is the Eventbrite link to get a ticket for you and a guest. The opportunity here is to come and celebrate your success and the success of your colleagues and your peers, as well as the company as a whole. If you were with us for the last couple of years, we have a lot of fun here. It's a really good time, and there is a great opportunity to mix, mingle, and get inspired by some of the amazing things that our agents and that you have accomplished in 2023. Then we'll wrap up the month with family reunion. You've heard about this since November, and there are still tickets available. There are still opportunities to engage, and Vegas has not yet sold out of hotel rooms either. So lots of great opportunity to get in and experience what is 4 days of highly effective and intense content around your real estate business, how that funds your perfect life, and what that perfect life can look like. From Gary Keller to Mel Robbins to Tony Robbins to literally hundreds of top agents from around the world presenting on what it looks like to succeed in today's market and what it means to build a great life. Everything from mindset, motivation, systems, strategies, online lead gen, increasing lead conversion, you name it. There's a panel with the best in the world happening at Family Reunion. If you're interested in getting a ticket to Family Reunion, hit the QR code on your left. If you have a ticket and you're looking for details on, hey, what is everything that is going on? What's the agenda? We've got 35 people, maybe 37 now, from the Market Center attending. And so you can hit that QR code on the right, see who all's going, see what it looks like to be at the event. If you're a first timer, there's tips, there's tricks, there's all the things they need to know about winning at the convention. Now, as I mentioned, all of our communities have some great events this month, starting with our investor community on Wednesday the 7th. That's a week from tomorrow at noon in the Rocky River office. We're going to hear about leveraging your own IRA, your own retirement account as an investment vehicle for real estate. It's a very cool way to unlock funds for investment. I just had a conversation with an agent who is transferring into our company from another company about this very event, as she is heading down the path of the fix and flip and the buy and hold, and accessing capital is something that she's interested in. And she has a career of over 2 decades in another industry where she has been able to build up a retirement account that she now knows that she might be able to leverage for her investment strategies. How cool is that? No hard money lender required. She gets to be her own bank with her IRA. So if you are interested in doing that, or if you think you have clients who have a bunch of money just hanging out in the stock market that everyone is concerned is going to crash in 2025, maybe they would want to invest in a recession-proof asset like real estate. Maybe you could help them do that. Maybe you should be there to do that. That'd be cool. The women of KWGM is going to have their February gathering at noon on February 15th. And that will be at the Cleveland Racquet Club. If you're not familiar with that, it's 3 or 4 doors down from our Pepper Pike office. It's a lovely venue. And this group has had a ton of good traction and are excited to host their February event there. You can RSVP with the link below or the QR code on your left. We will be bringing a solo agent roundtable to the forefront. That'll be on, I believe, the 16th of February or the 23rd. I'll go back and get that date. But it's going to be a really fun event. And this is going to be open to all solo agents of any experience level. And we're going to mastermind and roundtable around some case studies, some opportunities for increasing the number of leads, increasing lead conversion, increasing our or lowering our lead costs, strengthening our systems, getting a higher close percentage, all the things that, I mean, you know, as a individual agent, you're responsible for everything. And so how do you manage that? How do you build stronger systems? What does it look like? And we will be able to have everybody at every level engaged in that. And then a very cool event on the 19th, Larice Purnell, who's written several books on personal finance, on wealth building, sits on several boards throughout the Cleveland area as a very active member of the community, and is the managing partner of CLE Consulting. He is going to be speaking on to our company on Monday, February 19th in the evening, sponsored by, promoted by, presented by the KW Brown Group, our Black Realtor Network. And it's all about knowing where your money is going. As we like to say, if you don't know where your money is going, you're going to wonder where it went. Or if you don't tell your money where to go, you're going to wonder where it went. And so Larice is a fantastic presenter. He's got the chops. Do not miss this event. It is open to all, and you can get your ticket at the QR code or the link in the chat. And then our partners at Ohio Real Title will be knocking out a Net Sheet 101 via Zoom. That'll be led by a world-class netta, Rick Capretta. I think is how he wanted me to say that. Learn the net with Rick Capret was also another option that we had. So guaranteed to be a good time with Rick. And even if you know seller sheets, if you haven't learned it from Rick, you don't know everything you need to know. And then a class that everybody should be at for their own benefit alone, before we even get into clients. If you are a homeowner, you want to understand, how can I reduce my taxes, right? Making a lot of money is cool. Paying less in taxes is even cooler. That's a form of leverage. And so one way to reduce your taxes is to understand what the process around property tax and challenging that could be. Then once you understand it, you can take it out to your database. What a valuable conversation. You will save your clients more than what they paid you in the fee to help them buy the home potentially in a year, in one triannual, if we do this right, or if they're faced with a massive increase. Lots of opportunity here. And the master of it, the guy who's been doing it for going on 20 years now, is Eric Akbar. And he will be taking everybody through that class Wednesday, February 22nd at 11 a.m. So, jam-packed month of February. Don't miss out on anything. There is a ton of great content, both from our communities, from our coaches, and from our agent leaders. With that, we're going to throw it over to our partners in the order of Ohio Real Title first.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Mike. So one thing, now that we are noticing the market is picking up, I mean, at the end of the day, we're seeing more business come in, and it's really exciting. So with that in mind, make sure that your close dates are intentional. And working with cash buyers, if they want to turn the house around in 5 days, during busy season, typically we'd say, no way, Jose. However, right now we can still do it within 10 days. If anything comes up, if there's something so urgent, then, talk to us, but cash around 10 days. Now, if you already have a deal in with us and your buyer is financed and buyer and seller say, hey, we can move the close date up. First call is to your buddies at Cross Country or the lender. Don't call us first, because if they agree, you have to call the lender, make sure that they can do that. And also, then you call us and we'll see if our team has examined and everything ready to go. Okay. So just be very intentional with your close dates, and Rick and I are here to help. I know Rick has something to touch base on.
Yeah, I just helped our friends up at Greater Cleveland Northeast with a 3-hour CE credit on the new purchase agreement. And one of the things that kind of jumped at me that hadn't really before, because I know we're having issues with this too, is there's a section on FERPTA and just making sure that you guys know your parties, if they are U.S. citizens, permanent residents, or non-U.S. citizens. And I'm not so worried about the FERPTA aspect of it. It's more so because sellers are really utilizing the remote online notarization. Many times they'll have a LLC that is a U.S.-based LLC, so everyone thinks everything's fine, but we have to verify the actual person signing. So it matters which platforms we use and to make sure that everyone's in compliance. So if you guys know, just let your escrow team know if someone is not a U.S. citizen, because it will really help make sure that everything's tight and moves in a timely fashion. Looks like there might have been a little freezing at the office.
Yeah, you froze on my end. I don't know if it froze for everyone else. If that was just me, but you good? Give me a thumbs
We're
up.
good,
if you're
bud.
Rick.
We're good.
Okay, thanks, man. All right, over to those guys that Janelle referenced, our friends at Cross Country Mortgage.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Janelle. Yes. Just in terms of closing times, we generally run on a 21-day. We like to have 21 days to close, but we just in both for this month and last month, we closed a loan in under 2 weeks. Both were pretty clean deals and such, so we can move that quick. Appraisers were able to move fast as well. So a few things to announce. Fed Week, Federal Reserve Board meets today. Meeting concludes tomorrow at 2:15. There'll be a press conference. There will be no change to the interest rates, the federal funds rate, that is. But we'll be kind of reading into the tea leaves, so to speak, and the verbiage and words to see if there's optimism on a rate drop in March. Right now, it's about a 40% chance of a rate drop. I think May is more likely when we'll see that. But there's going to be some volatility, and we'll kind of just keep on interest rates. We're rolling out, or Fannie Mae rolled out, a new grant program. So in addition to the $4,000, in addition to the $6,500, in addition to the OFA, there's a new $2,500 grant. This is for somebody in the 50% income, sort of moderate income, or excuse me,
Low to mod.
loan amount. What's that?
Low to mod income.
Low to mod income. Thank you. I forgot the acronym there. So, so we've got more money to hand out if needed for first-time home buyers. And then 15% no PMI. So just to touch on that one, we rolled this program out in the fall. 15% no PMI for somebody with a 740 credit score and a 43 debt to income ratio. It's been a home run. Obviously, just avoiding PMI is good news for anybody, but it's also helped out when you got that 20% down buyer and you're worried about the house appraising short. It's kind of like a baked-in appraisal gap, sort of addendum. So it's worked out pretty well. DJ, Chris, anything you guys have?
No, in addition to the, you made comment that when we had that little rate drop in the end of December here, that was the market pricing a rate cut from the Fed in the month of March. That went out the window. Now they're starting to price in rate cuts in the month of May. There's an 89% that's the first month that the Fed may be cutting rates. So that's something to pay attention to when they start talking about what month they're going to start cutting rates. We start getting these little rallies in the market. And as soon as that fizzles, then the rates start creeping back up again. But right now we're looking at May for our first rate cut, if indeed that does come to fruition.
It's funny, just to be clear.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to be clear, when you're talking about rate cuts, you're talking about the federal funds rate, not
Yeah.
mortgage rates. Those are
That's correct.
like the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell do not
Powell.
set the mortgage rate levels. They set the federal fund rates, which is the cost of money, which
Mhm.
can be a factor in
Yes,
influencing mortgage rates.
that is correct.
Okay. So nobody goes out there and says mortgage rates are going down in May. There's an 89% chance, according to Don Jarecki.
You're correct.
Okay, just communication being key, as we talked about at the top of the show. I want to make sure that nobody takes the wrong thing to their clientele. Sorry about that, Bullock.
What I was going to say right in line with that is, back in December, it's funny what a month will do. Everyone's guessing where the market's going to go. The retail rate that, we see, ultimately your buyers see, everyone's guessing at where the Fed is going to be, down the road, 3 months down the road. So took a big drop in December. It was hunky dory. Everyone was happy. And then a month later, the news changes and inflation data comes out and, rates bump up a little bit. And now we're looking at May instead of March. So
That's right. That is right. Maybe we should do a nice little solid vignette again. I know we deep dove it at the Q2 kickoff last year about how inflation works, especially on the type of inflation that we're experiencing right now and what that means to mortgage rates and why the Fed's holding their rate can be a benefit to mortgage rates in the short term as it quells inflation. But yeah, just if you're looking for good conversation and content around rates, just be here every Tuesday so that these guys can break down what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means to your clients. Thanks, team. Gina Legeza with America's Preferred. Are you here today? Don't see Gina on the call. So we are going to throw it over to Liz with the Leverage. Leverage Liz. How did it take me 6 months to figure that one out? Leverage Liz.
I know. Didn't come to me either, so.
I think it's like a new slogan for the TC side of the shop here. Too
Leverage
busy
Liz?
on the
Yeah.
weekends to manage your deals? Hashtag Leverage Liz.
I like it. Think we can make it trending?
I'm going to try. So what's going on? I think Janelle mentioned we're seeing the market pick up, or are you seeing that? How's the file count for the month? And what do you, anything that you're seeing consistently pop up? Hey, more ROCs. Hey, more multiple offers. What's the, what are you seeing out there right now?
It's definitely picking up a little bit more than it was at the beginning of the month. Although it seemed like it was a fairly quiet weekend this last weekend. However, I have gotten at least a couple of deals lately that we're still waiving inspections. I've seen some appraisal gaps, multiple offers. So it looks like things are definitely picking up in terms of that. The properties that are, were in multiple offers last year, it looks like are maybe going to still be multiple offers this year.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So if I were talking to people in my pipeline and they're planning to list when the market is back, there may be an advantage now. Inventory is still suppressed. We have less inventory, I believe, at the start of this year and at this moment than we did at the same time last year. We saw a lot of stuff come off the market at the end of December, beginning of January that is not yet back on. And so from a supply side, if I'm going to list a home in a market, and I know that there are multiple offers and there are waived contingencies in this moment because inventory is so low, I might be in an advantage. I might consider, depending on why I'm waiting, to list now and get it into an opportunity as quickly as possible. What I might do in that situation is I might look at where is my pipeline? What homes do I potentially have coming on in March, April, May? That I'm cultivating from a pipeline standpoint. Look at the current inventory. Look at everything that just closed. Look at everything that's under contract and how quickly it went under contract. And I might glean some information from that to take to my pipeline and say, hey, did you know there's only 3 properties in your zip code that are currently on the market, 2 of them are under contract, and one of them has 1 less bathroom than yours. Now might be a better time, even before, you know, you replace the handrail and clean out the garage, to get this thing on the market, because there's going to be high demand. I might do that.
I mean, if there's fewer properties on the market now, then now might be the better time to sell.
That's right.
So,
Doesn't guarantee that it is, but it might be. It might
Yeah.
be. And this is it's a good consultative conversation to have with your client.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Liz.
Mhm.
Guys, if you are already too busy, or you're thinking, hey, I know I need more business. How am I going to get more business? It's by not working more, but working on more of the right things. Transaction coordination is a good thing to offload. It's about 40% of all the time and energy and resources that goes into a real estate transaction. So you could open up 20 more hours per deal if you hashtag leverage Liz. Let's do it. Thank you, Liz. Okay, gang, we are talking UVP, unique value proposition, today. And I am, well, I already saw the first question. Who knows what UVP is? It is your unique value proposition. It is why, said another way, why somebody would choose you. Why is it important? I dropped a stat at the start of the call that we've got about 15,000 realtors in our MLS. That number, you know, plus or minus 500 given the month. But we've got about 15,000 realtors in our MLS. And I would bet almost everybody on this call got into real estate because they knew somebody in real estate. And chances are, you know, a lot more people in real estate now. And whether or not they're viewed as competition, it's a choice. You shouldn't view other realtors as competition, but it does present a different choice to your clients. And so the opportunity for you with a unique value proposition is to be a more specific choice. Think about all of the things that are on the shelves at the grocery store, all the different cars that you can buy, all the different clothes that you can wear. All of these things present a unique value proposition. Everything from a certain customer experience, a certain thing that it communicates, or a certain function or utility that it provides. And if you've ever been involved with any sort of consumer packaged goods or consumable products, you know that there has to be something beyond people need to eat, so they'll buy food. Well, there's a lot of food options. People need to drive a car, so they'll probably buy our car. Now, there's a lot of car options, right? Hey, people need to buy and sell. I'm a realtor. They have to use me. They don't have to use a realtor. 11% of all real estate transactions that took place last year didn't involve a realtor on at least one side. So there's the thing. Number 2, they've got 15,000 options, right? And I bet they probably got 2 or 3 options on your block. So having a unique value proposition allows you to separate yourself and represent yourself in a more compelling way. So what are the best things to include in a unique value proposition? My recommendation is, go with the data. The devil is in not the details, but the data. Now, if you've heard me give a presentation or do training, for 90%, I referenced the 2023, or if it was last year, 2022, Home Buyers and Sellers Generational Trends Report. This is a report that is approximately 137 pages long that details several different aspects of the home buying, home selling, and moving experiences for agents, all the way down to how were agents compensated? What was the reason for your move? How did you find your real estate agent? What's really cool is there's a section dedicated to what's most important, or why did you choose your real estate agent? And so I think if we're going to craft a unique value proposition, it may behoove us to understand that out of the 4.5 million people that bought homes last year, what did they say was most important? Because when it comes to unique value propositions, there's always a temptation to think about the way that we market, or the brand, or the logo, or the this or that. And what I want you to know is it's not very important to the client. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work through a lot of the data. And then we're going to glean some roll-up information. And then I'm going to present a framework to help you communicate with your client about their desires in an emotional way, not a logical way. So here we find the report of what buyers want most from their real estate agent. Now, if I was going to build a unique value proposition, this is where I would start, right? And I don't want the Henry Ford line. If I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have told me faster horses, right? We're not in a real estate industrial revolution. And there's a lot of things out there that say that he never said that. So let's not misattribute quotes, and let's not try and excuse ourselves from doing the hard work of understanding what people want and just deciding to be creative instead. So what do people really want? Now you can see this is a generational homes report, and there's variability between what somebody in the late boomer versus early millennial want from their realtor. There's not a ton of range, right? But you can understand how some things are different to some people based on their generation. And if I had a database and I could glean the average age in my database, those clients, or if I knew that, like, hey, listen, young people are really price sensitive, not so much with those established in their career buying their second or third home. Younger people really comfortable searching on Zillow, using the website and the app to find the home. People that maybe didn't grow up with technology in their hand, I see that the 58% of what they value is just finding the home, right? Versus whether or not they can afford it. Interesting things to glean from the data. We're going to have our conversations on the all buyers side of the equation. So 50% of the people who are engaging a realtor say the most important thing they can do is help me find the right home to purchase. It seems novel, but there's, and listen, that's through MLS portals, that's through understanding, through your website and through a bunch of different other things. But at the end of the day, buyers want to buy, sellers want to sell. Helping buyers find the right home, their top priority. If we talk about the next two together, 24% of the total distribution is in negotiation. What was the value, or excuse me, the belief that we discussed at the beginning of the call? Does anybody remember which one was highlighted today? Throw it in the chat, unmute. Communication. Negotiation is a form of communication. And what your clients want is to help them negotiate the terms of the sale and the price of the sale. And if they knew about conditions, they'd want you to do those too. Help with the paperwork is also in the top 3, if you count those top 2 as negotiation together. Help with the paperwork. And it's interesting. Again, we're talking about all buyers, because you're not going to discriminate on who you work with. And so, age is just a number. But it's also interesting that if I'm in 24 to 32, which means I'm probably a first-time home buyer, I value help with the paperwork a lot more than help with the negotiations. Not a lot more, but more than the average. And guess what? If I'm if I'm in my if I'm at the peak of my career and beyond, hey, I'm pretty comfortable with paperwork. I've done this before, right? Interesting things. And so think if you take this framework and you think about who you're talking to and what you're talking about, you can make a really compelling case. So this is what they want most. Now we're going to look at what benefits did they provide during the purchase. So one is like, hey, what did you want from your real estate agent? And then what did you get? Like, what were the benefits of working with the agent? Okay, cool. Now, the first, this slide back here, oops, excuse me, is based on 100% distribution from top to bottom. This is percentage of total respondents. So how many people valued getting help, understanding the process? About 53% said, hey, it was really helpful. I benefited from unnoticed features or faults of the property, about half. Your network is your net worth. Nearly half of the people said, hey, it was really great that my realtor was able to suggest an inspector, an electrician, somebody to hit the POS, you name it. Oh, that, that's, a service provider and mortgage and title and home warranty, all of those things, very valuable. Almost one out of two buyers said that was a huge benefit. And then they helped them better understand what was going on in the search areas and what was important about that, right? So keep those things in mind as we truck on through. And then negotiated better sales contract terms, negotiation again. And then finally, what are the qualities that are very important to you and your real estate agent? So guys, real quick, here's what we've covered. What do I want out of my realtor? When I worked with my realtor, what benefits did I receive? And then who does that person have to be for me to work with them? Again, remember, we're crafting a unique value proposition, and this is the set of cheat codes. This is what's important to the buyers, not only what they think is important, what they felt was important, and the who it has to be as very important. So no surprises here. Honesty and integrity, responsiveness, knowledge of the purchase process, and knowledge of the real estate market. Those are all above 90% of the respondents. Bonus points for communication skills and negotiation skills, both in the 80s. In the 80s, 80% of respondents said that is important. So if I'm saying like, hey, here's all the things that I am, all the things that I do that check all of the boxes that they want or think are important. It's not like this is the first time any of these have shown up. Real quick, how would you demonstrate your honesty and integrity or your responsiveness? Those feel kind of intangible. What's something I could show a potential buyer or seller that demonstrates those two things? Anybody here ever ask for a client review? Jeremy Oles, ladies and gentlemen, a testimonial. A testimonial. There's something to something triggers for us as humans, like the hair on the back of your neck stands up a little bit, unless you keep it trimmed and tight like Don Jarecki does. But something goes off in our spidey sense when somebody tells us how honest they are or how high integrity they are, right? Shakespeare said it, methinks he doth protest too much. And so we actually value the testimonial. We value the review for that reason. Everybody's going to tell you their product's awesome, but the person who used it telling you it's awesome, that matters. So if you ever wondered, like, the hell's the point in client reviews? I've never got business because of a client review. I promise you've not gotten business because you haven't had a third party validate your expertise or your integrity, honesty, or responsiveness. Big opportunities there. All right. Now, we're looking on the seller side here. Just a few things to highlight. You're not going to see much different, but I wanted to highlight some things that are unique. This, I'll be honest, it blew my hair back. That's why I have to wear it like this, because when I saw this on in the data, I thought, man, that's really interesting, and I think there's a there. So this is the list of services provided by real estate agents from a sell side. The level of service. Just the title alone got my mind spinning. 83% of sellers had a broad range of services and management of most aspects of the home provided. 7% had a limited set of services as requested by the seller, and 10% just had the person put it on the MLS. So my only takeaway with this is there's something from a consumer standpoint in value. There's a value in saying that you are a full service realtor, that you provide a broad range of services and management of most aspects of the home buying or selling process. Putting that out there, like we know that that's what you do. We'll help you find an inspector. We'll help you. I'll walk through the inspection with you. I'll do all this. You know that you do that. You know that you do that for every client. You know what you do better than anybody else. Framing it as like, hey, I am a full service realtor is a way to educate and excite your client, because there's 20% of the people out there that aren't using it. And it's probably just because somebody came and in the absence of value, they won on price and they said, hey, for $500, I'll put it in the MLS. These things sell theirself. Good opportunity to build a framework that you're going to hang your unique value proposition on. Hey, here's everything that happens in the process, and I help you with every piece of it. All right, what do sellers want from their real estate agent? What do they want? What do sellers want? You're going to be unshocked. 23% said they want the home priced competitively. 23% said they want help marketing the home. 13% said they want to sell on a specific timeline. And 11% said they want help from the seller to find ways to fix up the home before they sell it, or sell it for more. The reason I skip down to that 11% is I think it drives it, like they want a knowledgeable real estate agent. There's a reason that it's challenging as a newer agent in the industry to get listings. Okay, maybe that's a limiting belief, but from a trend line standpoint, the data would say that that is less likely to happen. One, knowledge of the process might be a little bit lower. You might be a little bit less experienced. And for a lot of people, what they're seeking is a high knowledge base. Now, you can get as much knowledge in the first 6 months as some agents get in 6 years. We'll talk a little bit about how to do that at the end of the call. But it's important to understand that people are looking for a partner in this journey. They want to sell their home. They want to sell it at the right price. They want to sell it at the right time. And they want to sell it for as much as they can with the appropriate amount of improvements. So most of what a seller is looking for is, yes, ease of transaction and all the things that we already covered, but it's going to come down to price. So I might, if I really wanted to, like, okay, how do I get to that? Price is important, but net is probably most important. And so I'm going to focus on, I'm going to be at that class about seller net sheets, so I really understand everything that can go into it, so I can give a really accurate seller net based on all of my recommendations. What are the most important factors in choosing an agent to sell your home? Okay, so this was, what do you want? And then how do you choose? I want the reputation of the agent. I want an agent that's honest and trustworthy. I want an agent that's a friend or family member. Hashtag sphere of influence, hashtag database, right? One out of every 6 or 7 people will choose the person to sell their home because it's within arm's reach. So make sure everybody knows that you can help them do that. And then, oh, there it is again, knowledge of the neighborhood. I want them to know what's going on. So selling where you live can be really important if you get involved where you live. and you make sure that everybody knows that you know everything about the neighborhood that you're in. But again, what are we looking for here? Probably testimonials. Testimonials would be really powerful from honesty and trustworthiness. The other thing that I will offer up here is also that how many people are getting testimonials or reviews from other agents? That, to me, my friends, is the secret hack for the most important thing for sellers when choosing an agent is the reputation of the agent. So, okay, here's my value proposition. Here's a list of the last 10 deals I did and the reviews that I got from the agents that I did it with. People love to work with me. And so when I put a sign in your yard and it's got my name at the top, people are going to be excited to write offers on that house because they're excited to work with me. Whether or not we want to admit that that's a thing that people do and don't do, and they encourage and discourage based on who they have to work with or who's writing the offer. What I want you to know is other agents like working with me. Why? Because I get deals done. Okay. 1 out of every 3 people says that's the most important factor in selling their home. You just hacked it with somebody else doing the other agents competing for the listing are actually going to be the people that you've had review you. And so they're going to be competing against, hey, don't hire me, hire Jeremy Olds. So what did we hear that was important? What priority or focus did we hear? And here's the framework in building out your unique value proposition. There's going to be a priority or focus that got represented in there. Home knowledge is one of them that I didn't put the animation in the right cycle. So then you're going to say, well, so what? So what about, like, what exactly is home knowledge? And then what's the emotion or feeling tied to that, right? There's the old bold law, logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. So if you can have a conversation with someone about what you do, why it's important, and that you understand how they feel, whether it's a first-time home buyer or somebody who's lived in their house for 35 years. So unmute, go on the chat, wherever you want to be, and let me know what are some themes that you heard amongst the whether it be what we're looking for, what we benefited from, or what's most important.
I liked the testimonials from other agents. I have a lot of testimonials from clients included in my listing presentation and my buyer presentation, but I don't have any from other agents. I mean, I have them. It just never occurred to me to put them in there. Call in the
Sure.
Leverage Center right now.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Allison.
Update
That was a
listing
big one.
presentation.
That was a big takeaway for me also.
Excellent. Let's look at some, and I think, Brian, you put honesty in there. I'm going to rattle off the ones that stood out to me across those: market knowledge and home knowledge, knowledge of the process, right? I think that it was something like over 30% of people said that was an important factor in helping them with their decision-making. 93% said knowledge of the process was an important factor. Negotiation, communication, and getting the deal. I don't want to, I put that last one there myself because I don't want to lose sight of this. Sellers don't want you, they want you to market their home. They want you to help them with the process. They want to do a lot of different things. Buyers, they want to trust you and they want you to be honest, but all of these things have to be framed. The buyer wants to buy and the seller wants to sell. And so do not lose sight of having a best friend for a client and then not getting the deal done. Like nobody is going to go buy a second house the day after they buy a first one because they love working with you so much. And they're not going to continue to work with you if you cannot help them get deals done. So that's, just always never lose sight of that in the unique value proposition. And I would honestly, if I was building one out, I would lead with it. So the first three: market knowledge, home knowledge, process knowledge, right? You can go get knowledge. If whether you're a newer agent or you're breaking into a newer market or you're doing things that you haven't done, like, oh, now I'm working with investors, or, oh, now I'm working with retail clients, or, oh, I'm interested in luxury. How many homes are you touring each week with or without clients? How often are you getting on the MLS and looking about what expired, when it expired, or why it expired, what went under contract? How quickly could you tell somebody everything that they wanted to know about an area that they wanted to buy in? And it's not to say that you're not doing a fantastic job or that some people aren't successful in spite of it. What I know is if you have those first three things in spades, you're covering a lot of ground for every type of client. If you, and especially, the market knowledge, the more local, the better, because your sellers know what sold on their street and what it sold for and who bought it and how bad that house was. And did you know he put the garage door on himself? Right. And so you're not going to know that, but you're going to have to know something. If you are on this call and you don't have an active client right now, but you've got people that are going to buy or sell, I would go to the areas that they intend to buy or sell, and I would schedule a showing for every home that's available before the end of the week so that you can walk through and have a really strong base of what is going on, what's on the market, what's under contract, what's not selling, what is selling, what's expiring, so that you can help. Don't wait to build your CMA to do that work. Negotiation and communication. Those are really important. The so what column is like, that's really like, why is it important? I would say that negotiation and communication are two of the harder things to do in any relationship, and whether it's the relationship with your buyer or your seller or with the other agent. If there were no real estate agents, how many of us feel like our clients would be able to engage with the person buying their home in a civil way and succeed in closing the deal? It's a non-zero number, but it probably doesn't have 2 digits before the decimal point. We are being hired to mitigate, our clients' emotional reaction. Or mitigate their fervent reaction 3 days before close, where they want to back out of the home, or they want to tell the buyer that, to go stuff it and they're going to do whatever they want to do and blah, 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 blah. Those are the tough things that we get paid for. The so what here is what is going to allow you to appropriately identify the emotion involved, so that you can validate the emotion for your clients before they get to it in the process. So if I'm talking about my unique value proposition and I'm highlighting market knowledge or communication, I might say this is really important because we're in an environment that gets multiple offers. That may excite you, but multiple offers, they can be a result of the home being priced incorrectly, or the home being presented in a way that speaks to maybe too much opportunity. And so what is really important is, hey, I understand this market. I understand what's going on. I understand how to price it. And it might be exciting to think about 5 people writing offers on your home in the first 3 days that it's on the market. You might also feel a little bit overwhelmed. What I want you to know is that whether there's 1 offer or 100 offers, I'm going to take all of the anxiety out of that process for you. I'm going to make sure that you're only, you might get 100 offers. You'll be aware of all of them. You get to see all of them, but you're not going to invest time, energy, and resources reading 7 to 14 page documents 100 times. What I want you to know is all the time we spent talking about why you're selling the house and what it means for you to sell in the time that you're selling, those are all the things that I'm going to overlay against the offers so that you can make a decision on the one that meets your needs at the highest level. So that is like, hey, I'm super smart about real estate, all the way to, I know that this is stressful and I've helped people with this before and I'm going to help you with it. And the way that I can do it is because I have that market knowledge, because we invested the time in the consultation before we put it on the market. Same thing with negotiation and communication, right? Everybody wants to go into negotiation mode as a buyer or seller based on what they saw John McClane do to Hans Gruber in Die Hard. And that is a bad negotiation tactic. And so we want to be able to articulate that, hey, this is going to be a stressful process. Here are the 3 points that are going to be most stressful. Somebody else is going to walk through your house and do a detailed inspection and identify everything that's wrong with your home, the home that you love and that you've lived in for years. And then the buyer's going to have the audacity to ask you to give them more money based on what a stranger found. That's probably going to be a stressful time. Then there's going to be an appraiser down the line. He's going to appraise it. It's going to be value of that day. We're going to have been under contract for 30 days, but it's going to be value that day according to the appraiser and according to all the amazing things that he reconciles inside of his fancy notebook. That could be stressful to you. What I want you to know is that you will feel that stress and you can give it to me. It's okay to be stressed about it. It's a big deal. And it's a big deal that you have me to help you with it, because I have been working this market for X weeks, months, years. I am number one at this. I am trained by the top negotiators in our market center on how to do this. So when the offer comes back, or when the removal of contingencies or the price reduction request comes in, or the appraisal's not right, we will have options. And I promise you that we'll go over those options at every step of the way so that you never feel like you have to do a thing, right? Just because the process dictates it. Okay. So I just took like, hey, I know how to talk to people and negotiate deals, and I made it hyper relevant based on the emotional state that they will be in. And I told them that they'll be in it. So it validates it, it supports it. And I promise you guys, if you're going out there working from left to right, here's the priority. Here's what's important to most of my sellers. Here's why it's important to them. And here's the emotional tie down associated with it. I just went from a slick sheet detailing the same things that every listing agent, hey, I'm going to mark your home, I'm going to put it in the MLS, it's going to end up on 100 websites, to I know how you feel and I'm going to help you navigate those feelings. That is a 7th level unique value proposition, driven by the data of over 4.5 million buyers and sellers last year. All right, that's my time, guys.